Good morning, everyone. It is an exciting day for all of us here at the Makar Chaim WhatsApp Torah group. We finished just yesterday the Orches Chaim written by the Rosh after nearly 6 months of learning together for 5 minutes a day. We are beginning today with our introduction to a very famous letter which was written nearly 1,000 years ago, which has been passed down from generation to generation and is a hallmark of our Yiddishkeit, of our Torah, of our classical and ethical thought for the Jewish people. And this is known as the Iggeres HaRamban, the letter in which the Ramban, the great Rav Moshe ben Nachman, wrote to his son. We are going to give a brief introduction to understand the nature of this letter and to understand a glimpse of the greatness of the author of this letter, the Ramban himself. Now, I realize that we advertise that we're going to be learning the Sefer Tomer Devara. Upon more thought and preparation of that Sefer, I was concerned that perhaps it wouldn't have the same quality that we're looking for that we found with the Orches Chaim, where each day was a nugget of wisdom and information where we could describe it beautifully in 5 minutes, so you had something to walk away with. The Tomer Devara is very vast and very deep, and the ideas and concepts get extremely mystical at certain points. And I'm concerned that we would not be able to take out of that Sefer as much as we possibly could. But the Iggeres HaRamban, which we're going to be learning today, starting now, is also divided up into sentences, and each one is a plethora of Torah knowledge and wisdom for us to be able to inculcate into our lives as the Ramban writes. So I want to give a brief introduction, just that we should know what exactly this letter is, and then we'll give a small biographical sketch of the Ramban and his life as well to appreciate the godless, the greatness of this leader of the Jewish people. So there are famous words which are said to be penned in the name of the Ramban himself when he was sending this letter to his son. The Ramban at the time was living in Eretz Yisrael in Israel, and his son was still living in Spain, and he sent the letter from the city of Akko in Eretz Yisrael to his son in Catalina, Spain, and he wanted to inspire him to act with humility and to train his midas, his character traits, and his fear of heaven, his awe of heaven, his love of the Rabbi Shalom, his control over his midas, his character. He wanted his son to walk in those beautiful ways. And he instructed his son that he should read this letter once every week. He should teach it to his children as well, so that they would hopefully learn it by heart, and it would train them in their youth to fear the Rabbi Shalom. And then the Ramban writes, he makes a haftach, a promise to his son, that on the day that he would read this letter, he should stop after reading it, and he could be mispalel, he could daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for anything that he wants, because his wishes and his prayers would certainly be fulfilled by Shemayim in the heavens. And the Ramban promises also that whoever would accustom himself to read this letter on a regular basis, he'll be spared tribulation, difficulties, and he would be zeiche, he'd be worthy of Chaya Olam Haba, of living in the world to come. This, the Ramban felt, was the essence and the nature of the depths of this letter, how much bracha it could bring to a person's life. The Chidah, who was one of the great Sephardi leaders of his generation, perhaps about 500 years ago, he writes the following about this letter. He says the Ramban outlines a program for achieving the qualities of sanctity and humility. And he makes a pledge, as we said, that on the day that one reads this letter, Shemayim will answer all of this person's requests. And the Chidah continues and he writes that the Chachmei Musar, the great sages of the Musar movement, of those who learn discipline and the Jewish philosophy which is going to elevate a person's actions in this world, they encourage their Talmidim, their students, that they should read this letter periodically. Why? Because the holy words of the Ramban have the power to penetrate the innermost recesses of the heart, and it will permeate one's heart with the spirit of Kedusha, of sanctity. The message of this letter will make the reader profoundly aware of Hashem's omniscience, His omnipresence, His complete and overwhelming presence here in this world, and will allow man to recognize his own frailty and how small we are compared to the Ribbono Shel Olam. And then the Chidah concludes and he writes, Ashrecha, fortunate is the person who listens to the words of the Ramban, for he will achieve serenity, menucha, and peace of mind, menuchas hanefesh. These are the words of the Ramban which we are about to embark upon. Tomorrow I will give a brief biographical sketch of the Ramban's life. Once we appreciate the greatness of this man, then we will engage ourselves in the study of his holy words. Looking forward to the next up-and-coming weeks and months of the study of this magnificent sefer, this letter that will change a person's life if he takes the words to heart. Have a wonderful day, and we look forward to continuing tomorrow.